Today we're going to talk about capillary punctures. Capillary punctures are incisions that are made in the fingertips or in the heel, depending if it's a baby or an adult. Usually for babies, we do it in the heel, and we're going to show that in another video. But for this video, we're going to talk about capillary punctures for an adult patient. The patient is going to be positioned safely in a chair, and we're going to gather all the supplies. I'm going to go step by step, and I'm going to explain everything about capillary punctures, the do's and don'ts, plus the evaluation of a glucose check. Glucose stands for sugar, right? So it's a sugar blood level test that we can do, which is a WIA testing. Those are wave testing that you could do at your job. You don't have to send them out to the lab. So when we collect the capillary puncture for glucose checks, we're going to use different devices, and we're going to make sure that you can know the names of it, because it's your responsibility as a phlebotomist, medical assistant, or patient care tech to order the supplies and maintain your stations with the correct supplies for a withdrawal. Okay? So the first thing that we always want to do is wash our hands as soon as we come in, after we ask permission to come in, and then we're going to wash our hands, and we're going to take sanitizer and put on our personal protective equipment, which the abbreviations for personal protective equipment is PPE, personal protective equipment. Examples of personal protective equipment that we can use is gloves or sleeves for phlebotomy, or gowns or caps, or the boots, right? So for phlebotomy withdrawal, we can use the sleeves, the gown, and the gloves. Also, if the patient, you need to consider if the patient is coughing, and then we have to put a mask on the patient, and we have to put a mask on ourselves, as well as gargles, or the masks that already come with a shield for the eyes. And that's good personal protective equipment to use for this station. For now, we have a volunteer. And we're just going to make sure that we knock on the door, ask, may I come in?
Yes.
And introduce ourselves. So I'm going to introduce myself by saying, my name is Marisol Santana. I was sent from the lab. May I have your name, please?
Santos.
And may I have your date of birth? You don't have to say it.
4444.
Okay. And then I'm here to collect the capillary puncture, which is just a pinch on your finger. Is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we're just going to check your glucose levels, all right? Okay. And then have you had anything to eat or drink in the past 8 to 10 hours?
Yes, ma'am.
This question is important because if the person has already had breakfast, for example, or lunch, it will increase the value of the glucose. So it's probably normal after 2 to 3 hours after he completed his full meal. So we have to make sure we ask him that, okay? So you have nothing to eat or drink in the past 8 to 10 hours, Mr. Santos?
I did have something.
You did have.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I'm just going to wash my hands and gather my supplies, okay? I'm going to go wash my hands. I'm going to dry my hands completely and then put sanitizer. And then I'm going to get the gloves that fit my size. This chance I'm doing large because they cannot be too large or too small. A lot of videos you're going to see that they first wash their hands and then they get all their supplies, and at the end they put their gloves. But I don't recommend that, because as soon as we start touching anything from a biohazard station, you don't know who has touched it before, or you don't know if there's blood content in any of the supplies. So it's better for you to protect yourself at all times. I put on my gloves, and then I look for a field to protect my area. So we're going to be demonstrating what a capillary puncture is. A capillary puncture is that incision that we're going to make in either the ring finger or the middle finger of any hand. And basically the incision is going to go in the capillary area of your distal phalange of your finger, the end of your fingertip. Let's make sure that when we do the incision, we don't do it so close to the nail that the blood will run to the nail, or so close to the middle that when people grab things, it's going to become uncomfortable for them. So we're going to make sure that we do the incision or the puncture right around this area here. And it's usually not painful if we're using a small gauge. These are the supplies that we're going to be needing, and we're going to talk about them one at a time. So this is a glucometer, and this is the brand of the glucometer. It says Rayleigh. And this is another glucometer, and the brand is called Assure Prism. So basically that means that you're going to have different devices for as a glucose or glucometer checks. But these devices comes with strips. And the trick about it is that we have to make sure that the device matches the strips that we're going to be using. So for example, for Rayleigh, we cannot use Assure Prism strips. The strips are the ones that are going to go inside the machine, into the machine, and is where we're going to put the blood. A lot of mistakes are that people try to put the blood on top of the slide, and it's supposed to be on the side of the slide. And as you approach the strip to the incision, to the blood area, it will suck in the blood, basically, instead of placing it on top of the slide, because if not, the machine will give you error. So this is the strip for the Assure Prism glucometer. We're going to disregard this one. Then you're going to need 2 sets of alcohol. I usually use alcohol, 70% isopropyl. And then this one will be to clean the finger. And at the end, I use an extra one just to clean the machine. We're going to have a bandage just in case the patient prefers. We're going to have 2x2 gauze. These gauze are 2x2. They're not sterile. They're clean gauze. They come in a packet. And we usually want to make sure that we have enough in case the person is taking anticoagulants and they're heavy bleeders. These devices are called lancets. And I'm demonstrating 3 different kinds of lancets. We have different kinds of lancets. And the most important thing to know about it is that each lancet comes with a size of gauge. These tips are basically illustrating when we remove them, that's where the needle is going to come out through. This one specifically, the one that looks like a top that we hold and then we click. This one is usually a deeper and bigger gauge. And when I say bigger, I'm talking about the size of the needle. The diameter of the needle is thicker. And this is usually for heel sticks for infants, or if I would like to perform a hemoglobin test or hematocrit test on this patient, I need more blood to be collected. So we want a deeper incision, a deeper puncture. But these 2, one of them is a 27 gauge and this one is a 30 gauge. How do we know the gauge? We know the gauge sizes because it comes in a box. It will tell you this is a 20 gauge lancet, or would tell you this is a 27 gauge lancet, and that's how we're going to choose the size of the needle that we want to make the puncture. Today I'm going to use this one, but I do want to demonstrate how these devices work. So if you twist and pull the top, this one doesn't have a button to click on. So this one, we just hold it bilaterally, side by side. And when we do the puncture, I'm just going to demonstrate quickly here, you just press down. And that means the incision is there. Okay, and we're going to discard these in the sharp containers. Today we're going to use a 30 gauge lancet, and we're going to use gloves. After we wash our hands and put on supplies, my gloves are already on. I would prefer for you to wash your hands, put on your hand sanitizer, and then put on your gloves, and then approach and get your sharp container. By the way, sharp containers have a limit. By OSHA regulations, you cannot pass that line. So it's filled after it gets to this line. OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Those are the agencies that are going to come to monitor you unannounced. They're going to send an inspection to your lab to make sure you're in compliance with universal control and infection control in your lab. Then we have your device. Now I'm going to ask for the hand of the patient. This is the finger you prefer. Remember, we don't collect from this finger because it has its own pulse. This finger, because it's the one mostly used, and this one because it has poor circulation. So we're going to either use the heart finger, or the ring finger, which is the middle finger or the ring finger. I'm going to clean the site. I'm going to turn on my machine just by putting the strip. The machine turns on. Then I'm going to twist. And I'm going to make my incision. The first drop, I clean. The second drop, I collect. As soon as it beeps, I can put it down and immediately fold the gauze and apply pressure. 132. 132 is elevated. Normal values are 70 to 110. But since he already said that he had a big meal, that means that it could be elevated. It could go to 160, 170. As long as it comes down after 3 hours, the results are okay. I'm going to remove the strip, allowing him to continue to apply pressure. I'm going to clean with my second swab the machine. The last thing I clean is this area. I gather all my supplies, throw everything away. Where they go? The lancet already went to the sharp container, and now I'm going to assess my site. Sir, do you want a Band-Aid?
No, I'm good.
Can I just clean that little drop of blood there just in case? I don't want you to put blood around. Okay, so we reassessed the site, and that's good enough. If it was bloody because he had a lot of blood, you can clean it with an alcohol wipe and just apply pressure again, okay? But sir, you're okay. Your glucose right now value is 138. Since you had a large breakfast, it's still within the normal value. The glucose level should be from 70 to 110. 70 to 110 is the normal value, but it could go up to 140, 160 if you had a good meal, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
The way that we remove our gloves will be dirty fingers to dirty glove. After we pull it out, we want to keep everything in the middle. Clean fingers to clean skin. And gloves always will go in the biohazard container. After I sanitize my station, I need to immediately wash my hands and then document my results.